Hello and welcome back to Witches of the Moon. I'm Eva Maria, your Monday hostess, and I am here with my little girl Nixie. She has just had her bath. We are going to be discussing this week's topic, which is the evil eye. I know she may be distracting. I know she's just a little ball of cuteness, but you know, I have to keep her warm. She just took her bath. Anyway, this week's topic, the evil eye. The evil eye is something that can come from any number of sources. It can come from one person, it can come from many people. It can be intentionally directed, it can be unintentionally directed. Essentially, it is a form of negativity that is sent one's way. Usually it comes in the form of envy, but again, if it is a more deliberate sort of evil eye or negative energy, it can be directed your way just through sheer hatred. You know, we all have haters, so to speak. Well, I need not beat to death what the evil eye is, other than to pretty much say in a nutshell, yes, it is negativity sent. Many believe in the form of a symbolic sort of gaze, like someone is looking, not like, what I mean by gaze is, and what I mean by symbolic is not, it's not like someone just looks at you and there you go, bang, you are cursed or something, or, you know, your luck goes to hell. What I mean is, it's someone looking upon you in a negative sort of way, so to speak. Someone being jealous toward you could be a way of them looking upon you in a negative way. It doesn't mean they're literally looking at you in a funny way or a nasty way. It doesn't mean they're giving you the stink eye, but it does mean that in regard to you, when they think of you, when they look at you, you know, or when they perceive you, I should say, they're perceiving you from a sort of negative emotional or mental place, whether that is intentional or unintentional. So I think, you know, that sort of sums up what exactly the evil eye is. Now, in this next part of my video, I would like to share with you some evil eye warding objects and techniques. I think some of you may be familiar with a fair amount of these, but I figure maybe it's beneficial to share some of these examples, because maybe there are others of you out there who are not familiar with all of these, or maybe there are people out there who are not familiar with any of these. So I figure the best way of dealing with a negative phenomenon is to know how to empower yourself against it. So Nixie and I are going to show you some objects and techniques for warding and thwarting the evil eye. I think the most common evil eye warding charm, the one that most people are fairly familiar with, is the one I'm showing you here. Usually these are made of glass. They are blue eye beads that are intended to deflect the power of the evil eye. However, beads like this, charms like this, are not always blue. I have seen them in many, many different colors. And while the blue evil eye warding charms are the most traditional, that is not to say that evil eye warding charms made in other colors are not effective. For example, a charm such as this made red and white instead of like blue and white. Red can denote power. It's a very defensive sort of deflection of the evil eye. So if for you red is a very powerful color, you may consider, maybe if blue is not the way you want to go, you can consider a red evil eye warding eye. Or let's say you want to ward people sending forth the evil eye in relation to your love relationships. Well, maybe consider a pink evil eye warding charm like this one. Or I have seen the ones that are green rather than blue. Those are excellent for jealousy, to ward jealousy. The sky is pretty much the limit. So when and if, I'm assuming, if you find yourself shopping for evil eye warding charms of this sort, when you are in that position, I suggest that maybe you consider color symbolism. In May of last year, I was fortunate enough to be able to take a trip to Bermuda. That was in May of 2014. And during a visit to the Clock Tower Mall, I came across these beautiful evil eye warding stud earrings. Of course, I had to buy them. They were reasonably priced. This store, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but a good majority of the wares sold there were made of artisan glass. Bermuda is very well known for its glass works, and it's beautiful. Just they make some beautiful, beautiful artistic glass pieces. Now that's a little bit aside from the point, but I'm showing you that evil eye warding charms need not be the more common bracelets, which, by the way, are traditionally worn on the right wrist, or the more common evil eye warding necklaces that we often see so much of. Earrings are another option. So I know that these were a little bit of an obscure find, but I'm fairly certain that if you look around online, if you wanted something like this, I'm fairly certain you could find a pair of evil eye warding earrings, much like these. So yes, these are an option of evil eye warding jewelry that I just wanted to show you. This image is an example of a very effective evil eye warding bracelet. In this case, you do see the evil eye warding bead, but it is in the center of what is known as a hamsa hand. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And on the very ends of this bracelet, there are also hematite beads. This bracelet did not cost me very much at all. I actually found this at a dollar store. The reason I am showing you this is not just to illustrate that it isn't only evil eye warding beads that are effective in sort of thwarting and warding the evil eye, but also that you need not spend a lot of money to find something of this sort that is beautiful as well as powerful. This just came from my local dollar store. You don't need to search high and low and spend insane amounts of money if you would like to acquire something of this sort. And hamsa hands are just as effective at thwarting the evil eye. They have that gesture of the open palm hand, as if in a stopping gesture, to stop that evil intention in its tracks, to keep it away, keep it at bay, to block it. And the evil eye warding bead in the center also deflects the evil eye. Very powerful symbolism here. So yes, consider, as well as the evil eye warding beads, consider hamsa hands, and do consider that you really don't need to spend so much money if you wanted to acquire for yourself some sort of evil eye warding jewelry. Here is another example of an effective evil eye warding bracelet that does not include the actual evil eye warding beads, but it does include 3 Hamsa hands. I find the triad, the number 3, to be quite sacred, and the hands, again, they have their gesture of blocking, stopping, warding, deflecting that evil intention, whether, again, it is conscious or unconscious. I feel that though the beads in this bracelet are not actual turquoise or some other semi-precious stone, they really don't have to be. What lends this piece of jewelry its power is the symbolism of the Hamsa hands themselves, and as a psychological trigger, wearing a bracelet such as this on the right wrist, it keeps your mind focused on the intent of maintaining that barrier against evil intentions, whether they were sent with, what's the word I'm looking for, whether they were sent, in a premeditated way, intentionally, deliberately, or whether they were completely unconscious to the sender. The evil eye doesn't have to be some nastiness that someone wants to send you because they hate you. Sometimes it is quite possible for people to send the evil eye unintentionally, but regardless, intentionally or unintentionally, I do feel that this bracelet here that I'm showing you is another great example of a very effective charm against the evil eye. And again, this didn't cost me more than $1. So expensive does not mean more effective. That is one little bit of advice or one suggestion I'd like to extend to you. Don't feel that if you want to acquire some very powerful evil eye warding jewelry that you need to really go out and break your bank and go, buying something that is, semi-precious or precious stones and like silver and gold and like all the bells and whistles. It doesn't have to be that over the top. Something like this is wonderful, powerful, quite effective. Charms against the evil eye do not have to be in the form of jewelry. I'm sure that many of you are familiar with what I'm showing you here. This is what is known as an eye of God, or an ojo de Dios. This represents the all-powerful, all-seeing eye of divinity. It sees everything, and it is an extreme symbol of sanctity. These you can easily find online, tutorials, how to make these. You can make these for yourselves. All you really need is like 2 sticks and some colored string. You can create these to hang up in your home to deflect the evil eye, any kind of jealousy or negativity directed toward your domestic space or your family or anything of that sort. You can even make these for your places of business or anywhere that you dwell. You could probably make a small one like this to hang in your car if you want to keep people from wishing you ill, because maybe you just got a new car, and maybe there are some people that might either intentionally or unintentionally direct envy your way, or maybe some people may be a little jealous that they cannot have such a nice vehicle. Well, you certainly don't need any kind of bad energy coming your way of that sort in respect to the evil eye. You don't want to be having things like cops stopping you every 5 minutes, or traffic accidents or anything like that, due to negate influences from people that either consciously or unconsciously are envious of your vehicle. So yes, you can create ojos de Dios, and you can hang them in your house, your place of business, your car, anywhere pretty much. You could probably even make little ones like this, create little keychains to carry around with you if you don't want to necessarily wear jewelry. Not everybody is into the whole jewelry thing. And this, again, it's a very powerful deflector and warder. You don't have to be someone that subscribes to the whole Judeo-Christian Orthodox sort of faith, or any faiths that fall into that sort of category, to feel that the Ojo de Dios kind of resonates with you. This can represent the eye of any sort of divinity that you may feel connected to or drawn to. You know, this doesn't have to be like the eye of Yahweh. This could be for you the eye of, let's say, Gaia, or the eye of Hecate. This is any sort of divine all-seeing eye. Please do bear in mind that many people do believe that it's not, whatever divinity you feel drawn to is just as valid and powerful as any other facet or vision of divinity. I personally believe that all facets of divinity, all gods, goddesses, what have you, are essentially, they are connected. They are all part of the greater whole. So, though this is called the eye of God, and many view it in a sort of Judeo-Christian Orthodox sense, because all gods are connected in the greater all. You know, divinity is divinity, holiness is holiness. So, for you, if you connect with a sort of pagan or, less orthodox, I guess is the best way I could say it, deity, that doesn't mean that you can't view this as their protective, all-seeing eye watching over you and thwarting that evil influence that may be sent your way from outside sources. So maybe this is something you want to consider looking into. Now, what I'm showing you here is something that, until I got together with my husband, I had never seen before. My husband's grandmother, she does something every time someone in the family acquires a new vehicle. She gets a piece of black ribbon and she cuts the ends on an angle so that, as you can see in the photo, they form points. She says some prayers, she calls, I guess, to divinity as she personally connects with it. It doesn't matter what divine God, goddess, power, what have you, you pray to, but she will pray to the aspect of the divine that she feels most connected to. And she will pray for, protection for the person and their vehicle that she is doing this for. She will then proceed to, and she will also have in her mind the firm intention that what she is seeking to deflect is what is known by Italians as the eyes. That is another term that is applied to the evil eye, when someone puts the eyes on you, so to speak. So she will have that in mind. She is seeking to ward and deflect the eyes. She says her prayers, and then she will take the ribbon and she will tie it as shown in this picture so that the points point down to the ground, so that if someone should direct the evil eye toward the person or their vehicle, the person who owns the vehicle or their vehicle, that the little black ribbon will absorb that negativity and then deflect it down through the little points into the earth, grounding it. Or some people see it not necessarily as grounding it, but some people who have a little more of a sort of orthodox sort of belief system and more Judeo-Christian sort of view, they will see it as like sending the eyes to hell. Either way, I personally feel it's more of a grounding thing, but either way, it is, I feel, a very effective, powerful way of taking that negativity and, just earthing it, sending it away, deflecting it. So this is something you may also want to consider, the black ribbon. Again, there's nothing special about the ribbon. It's just a black ribbon with the tips cut to form little points. It is tied so that the little points point down. And when you put this into a vehicle, you want to really focus on your intention of thwarting the eyes, deflecting the eyes, that any kind of negativity sent to the person whose vehicle it is or to the vehicle itself, that negativity will be taken in by the ribbon and then channeled down and away, okay? This is something you may also want to consider. This photo is an example of something that I think many people sort of forget about. I'm using this photo of my own eyes wearing very intense makeup to remind you all that eye makeup is something that people have often used throughout history many times to thwart, deflect the evil eye, and also to empower their own will, their own, powerful sort of protection, Many people forget that there is an aspect to makeup that is magical. Highlighting certain features, it lends them a sort of power. When you, let's say, for example, in this case, with the eyes, let's say you're not into the anti-evil eye beads for whatever reason. Let's say you're not into jewelry. Let's say you, for whatever reason, aren't very crafty, and so an ojo de Dios is not really for you. And let's say your funds are low, so you're not really going to be buying any kind of anti-evil eye thwarting charms or talismans or anything of that sort. Well, if you happen to be someone who wears makeup, maybe next time that you are applying your eye makeup in particular, I think something you may want to consider is really focusing on the intention that your eyes are just as potent as the anti-evil eye beads or the hamsa hands or any other sort of symbol of deflection. Your eyes, they say, are the windows of your soul. Obviously, we all have our own will to be protected, to be well, So when you make up your eyes, you're sort of drawing attention and power to them. And if you put the intention behind your making up of your eyes, you are thus empowering your own eyes to be defensive against the so-called eyes or evil eye of others. Your gaze becomes more powerful than theirs. You are deflecting their intentional or unintentional negative energy that they may have sent toward you, that energy that comes from outside sources. You are deflecting it with your own gaze that you have empowered intentionally, deliberately, when you put on your eye makeup in a way that is not just mundane, but magical. So please do consider, perhaps, if you wear makeup, consider your eye makeup as a very powerful and effective means of thwarting, deflecting, blocking the evil eye. If when you apply your eye makeup, you visualize, your eyes sort of sending out like a protective energy of their own, or if you keep in mind the intention that your eyes, they see everything, they will find that evil eye, and your gaze so empowered will destroy it. You, yourself, through just something simple like this, you can be your own anti-evil eye warding sort of talisman or self-protectorate. Last but not least, remember how I showed you the ribbon that my husband's grandmother, that she empowers and places in the new vehicles of family members? Remember those tips that gather and ground the negative energy of the evil eye? Well, what I'm showing you here is a hand gesture that many people, particularly Italian people, but many people will use to deflect the evil eye. I have heard many people, what they will do is if someone says something or does something that sort of, you kind of feel that, like, though they appear to be kind toward you, there's kind of a little bit of an undertone of like bitchiness or envy or what have you beneath the surface of what they have said or done. Many people, what they will do is they will wait till that person walks out of the room or turns around, and behind their back, they, the person who feels this negativity, this evil eye, they will make this gesture of the horns downward toward the ground. Like, I send that evil eye, I send the eyes to hell, or I earth that evil eye, that power, I deflect it, I earth it. So something even as simple as this, if you don't have, let's say you're in a situation and someone just kind of says something and it's a little bit, snarky or just nasty or what have you, bitchy. Well, if you're not going to outright, just be like, F you, man, which, most people in social situations, maybe it's not an appropriate situation. Maybe you're at work, or maybe you're dealing with a customer at your job and you can't really tell them off, but you reject that evil that they have spoken over you, or that they have kind of sent your way, that attitude, nastiness, what have you, or, something of that sort. Well, you can wait until they leave the room or turn their back or what have you, and then you can just make that gesture of the horns, down, 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 deflect, deflect, deflect. Earth that nastiness. Send that away from you. This is something that you can do anywhere, totally free of charge, obviously. This doesn't require any special tools, preparation, or anything. This is something to keep in mind, I think, for situations where you may need to deflect nastiness, that evil eye, those eyes, or even if someone says something, oh, I wish I had such and such that you have, to deflect that envy, even if they seem like or sound like they're meaning well or just kind of being nice. Maybe you want to just kind of deflect that, because that's just like, okay, maybe unintentionally you're sending me the evil eye. Well, then you can, again, wait till they turn around, wait till they leave the room, wait till you're not in their vicinity, and then you just earth, 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 earth. Just make the sign of those horns, and you just send that away from you and down into the ground. Okay, well, Nixie, she is upstairs eating right now, so unfortunately she's not here with me for this portion of the video. But now that I've shown you various objects or techniques with which you can empower yourself against the evil eye, I would also like to mention that in the description of this video I will be linking some further informational links, some other resources for you in regard to this week's topic. I know that I sort of kind of delved right into thwarting and warding, and I didn't really talk about the evil eye itself ad nauseum, but I sort of feel that I don't have to, because I think just having that general understanding of what exactly we're talking about here, that it is a sort of negative energy that comes from others, whether intentionally or unintentionally, because that is a phenomenon. I feel that just that basic understanding is enough to know what you're up against for the most part. And in delving right into some techniques, I feel that I at least can give you something in the way of what to do if you don't already have some knowledge of warding or thwarting, techniques or any sort of knowledge of talismans or amulets or objects that could help you to sort of just keep that negativity at bay. So that's why I sort of delved right in and didn't really go on and on and on about the evil eye itself. I do look forward to seeing everyone else's videos this week. This is an awesome topic, I think, once again. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a hostess on Witches of the Moon. I really do think that this is a really awesome topic that, I think generally it is important to have this sort of understanding or knowledge, something along these lines in your arsenal as a magical or spiritual practitioner, because this is something that is quite prevalent, I feel. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, anything to share or add, I welcome you to bring those forth in the comment section below, and I will try to address those as well as I can. That said, blessed be and ashe. I wish you all a wonderful Monday. And until our next exchange, bye-bye for now.